Hello everyone, welcome. You're watching Voices and I'm your host Eric D. Clark, and it's a joy to have you join us in your homes and wherever you're watching from. Voices is a program of the Communication Department of the Atlantic Caribbean Union. And this program covers the Cayman Islands, the Turks and Caicos, of course, North and South Bahamas Conferences, and we're delighted to bring you an educational emphasis this week. This week, we take our cameras and we are in studio in the South Bahamas Conference, and we're delighted to welcome our Education Director, Mrs. Joan Scavella. Mrs. Scavella, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Oh, so much mine too, Pastor Clark.
It's a joy, and today we're going to talk education, but let's lay a foundation. Can you please just share with us a little bit about who Mrs. Scavella is?
Well, Pastor Clark, I am Joan Marie Scavella, formerly Joan Marie Davis. I was born in the quaint town of Old Harbor, St. Catherine, Jamaica, and received my early education at Old Harbor Primary, Old Harbor Secondary, then to West Indies College High School, West Indies College, Southeastern University, Andrews University, and so I've had a colorful life as a student.
Okay.
And I migrated to the Bahamas in 1987.
Wow.
And got connected with one of the sons of the soil,
Okay.
and hence my being here. But I have served as a teacher in Jamaica, having worked at an all-boys school, co-educational school as well, and then moved to Grand Bahamas Academy in Freeport when I was called by the former principal, Lynn Smith. And since then, I have moved from the classroom teacher to an administrator, and I've served as an administrator in Abaco, Grand Bahama, and now New Providence.
Great.
And it has been a remarkable experience and journey as someone who used to play school as a child.
Is that so?
And being inspired by one of my former teachers, Mr. Eric Price at West Indies College High School. And I knew from then I wanted to emulate this brilliant teacher. And so started my journey as an educator.
He was such a gentleman.
Yes, he was.
Yes. Mrs. Scavella, I'm glad that you've shared that with us. Can I ask you to add to that the portion that sometimes we don't want to blow our own horns, but you got connected. Can you share with us, please, a little bit about your family?
Okay, I have a husband, Paul, and he's a pastor in the South Bahamas Conference, and we have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sister Scavella's husband happens to be the president of the South Bahamas Conference. And the names of your children, please?
My first is Paul, the second, then a girl, Paula Jo, and then the last, Je-Paul.
Thank you so much for that.
Yes.
And we want to talk about education. How would you describe the education system for the South Bahamas Conference as you sit as education director?
Well, the education system in the South Bahamas Conference, its embryonic stages began over almost 104 years. And it started out with 2 students. And as the history records, it's chronicled that the school started with 2 students of missionaries.
Wow.
Who did not want their children in the public system, but wanted them nurtured in the faith.
Okay.
And so hence they started the Bahamas Academy. Now Bahamas Academy started in the Odds Fellow building on Meeting Street. moved to Hawkins Hill,
Yes.
then to Wolf Road,
Mm-hmm.
and miraculously to Marshall Road.
Wow.
Now that was a mammoth endeavor which started with our union president, Pastor Leonard Johnson,
Okay.
and ended with the current president of the South Bahamas Conference. But our education system at its core seeks to train the head, the hands, and the heart.
All right.
And so we take this as an obligation to train the students that come in our care. And so Bahamas Academy has a curriculum that caters to the academic, the spiritual, and the physical. Over the years, we have seen the school grow from 60 students, and then it moved on to over 1,000 when Pastor Roach
That's right.
became the principal. And so now, because of the dynamics in our society and in the economy, we are now at 845
Wow.
students. However, we thank God because although we had seen that decrease, we have noticed over the past 5 years that there is, although a small increase, there's a steady incline.
Okay.
Our education system regards each child of inestimable value. And so our church has an accrediting authority which is called AAA, and that stands for Adventist Accrediting Association.
Okay.
And so our school is subject and exposed to this body that scrutinizes our programs and our plans. They look at our strategic plan, they look at our curriculum, they look at our physical plan, and they determine whether the school is fit to be operated, irrespective of the government saying that it is fit for operation. If AAA deems that we are not adequately equipped to educate our children, then it's possible that we'll have to close down.
Wow.
Okay?
I hear you saying, one, you've said obligated to provide this education. When you say obligated, it looks like you can't do otherwise.
Yes, we have an obligation to God. And we have been directed by the spirit of prophecy to educate each child. And we do not lend our children to other entities. We feel that if our children are nurtured in the knowledge and the fear of God, that they will be successful. I am not negating or denouncing the fact that academics is not important.
Okay.
We value academics highly, and we ensure that our students are properly equipped academically, but we believe that our children should reflect the image of God.
Beautiful. So the spiritual plays an even higher role.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Bahamas Academy, can you talk about it? How is it operated? How is it divided? And then your leadership team there?
Oh, yes, Pastor Clark. We have a dynamic team, a talented team,
Okay.
and that includes our teachers
Okay.
and the support staff. We are operating on 2 campuses, one at the Old Trail Road, which is opposite Solomon's. And there we house our Ks from K2 to K5 with a coordinator, Mrs. Diane Jones.
Okay.
That is adjacent to the Living Faith compound.
Okay.
And that's a Living Faith Seventh-day Adventist church.
Good.
Now, then we have the main campus, which is on Marshall Road, which we have now occupied for the past 5 years.
Okay.
And we have our grades 1 to 12. Now, the administrative team consists of 7 persons. We have our principal, Mr. T. Milton Lewis, assisted by 4 vice principals.
Okay.
And at the high school, we have Mrs. Garcia, Allison Garcia, who is responsible for administration and curriculum and instruction.
Okay.
And assisted also by Mr. Winston Simonet, who is in charge of physical plant and discipline.
Okay.
Then at the elementary school, we have Mrs. Elmore Jack.
Okay.
She's in charge of administration and discipline, and Dr. Lavonda Smith in charge with responsibility for curriculum and instruction. We also have a diverse staff and faculty because we have persons from different countries. So it adds to the education of our students, and the diversity provides also, it's amazing. There is unity in diversity.
Wow.
So we're all in sync, and we share the same philosophy, and so it makes for a more dynamic atmosphere for children. We have a teaching staff of approximately, we're looking at this year, 52 teachers.
Okay.
And the remainder, 78 in all, the remainder would be our support staff.
Okay. 52 and a total of 78. That's
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes.
And one of the things that we always look forward to is the fact that on an Adventist campus, the kids are involved in a prayer life as well.
Yes, and we believe that the ethos of our school should reflect Christ.
Okay.
In everything we do, it should reflect Christ. How we discipline, how we teach, how we carry ourselves, deport ourselves. And so because the spiritual development of our children is important, we have a chaplain.
Okay. Full-time
A
chaplain?
full-time chaplain.
Okay.
And she is a theologian. So we could not have asked or deserved better.
Okay.
Mrs. Nathalie Roberts. And so she's been serving for chaplain now for 2 years. So she is responsible for the spiritual nurture not only of our students, but also staff. Because many times we think that the chaplain is just there for the students, but the staff also have their needs,
Okay.
spiritual needs. So she caters to the entire school community.
That's beautiful, and I'd like to commend you for making a move like that, to have a chaplain, somebody who is there just to help you in that area. We're going to talk so much more about Bahamas Academy in just a bit, but please, we just want to take a break, so we're going to pause and we'll be right back.
Seventh-day Adventist education is an opportunity for our children. The Lord had in mind a great plan to take our children to heaven. And Christian education is part of that plan. You know, Christian education means salvation, because every Adventist teacher, every Seventh-day Adventist school is involved in saving our kids. Are you an Adventist pastor? It's your responsibility to inspire your children, the children in your church, to go to our schools, to our universities. Are you a church leader? You have the same opportunity. You are called to support them, to help them, to inspire them to study in our institutions. Are you a father or a mother? Well, the Lord has you in order to take your children to heaven. And Christian education is part of that, of those resources left for you. Every one of our children should be in our schools. That should be our motto. That should be our goal, and the Lord will help us to achieve it. May the Lord bless you as pastor, our church member, as parent, and bless through you all the church children.
Welcome back. This is Voices. I'm Eric D. Clark, and we've been talking with Mrs. Joan Scavella, the Education Director, among other things, of the South Bahamas Conference. Mrs. Scavella, what other responsibilities do you do? I'm sure it's not only education.
Well, I'm also the Children's Ministries Director of the conference.
Okay.
And I also serve as a Shepherdess Coordinator.
Uh-huh.
And
you help out in communications also, because I see.
yes, I do, but I do not make that known.
All right. I just want to commend you because we get that information every week, and the folk don't know it does take a lot, the editing alone, and we appreciate it. All right.
Thank you so much,
God
Pastor
bless
Clark.
you. Yeah. Bahamas Academy, you indicated that you have 78 total staff.
Yes.
With such a large number of just staff, how do you make it financially? Do you have all the money that you need?
Oh, we wish we had. Now, Pastor Clark, our school is funded mainly by tuition. And we also receive a subsidy from the conference and a grant from the government.
Okay.
We're appreciative of all of these, but we are still challenged financially because we cannot charge our parents what it requires. And so we have to be creative. We have to have fundraisers at times in order to complement what we have. We also have a problem with cash flow.
Okay.
And I am sure that, like other institutions who have experienced this, we are sometimes forced to make our petitions known to the conference, and then we are given an added subvention. And for these, we want to thank the conference, we want to thank the union, we even want to thank the union for injecting funds into our computer lab.
Okay.
So, despite the fact that our parents pay tuition, that is paled in comparison to the financial demands that we have.
Wow.
Tuition could never run our school. And so, as we speak, and for those who are listening to us, we want them to feel free to support us financially so that we can continue to train the country's children that God has loaned us.
Okay. Can we use some additional help from the membership of the church itself also in just supporting Adventist Christian education?
There are some churches that consistently give, but we would like to encourage the others who may not have started to do so now, because in actuality, the school belongs to all of us. They are owners of the school, so it is like you're abandoning your child. Can you imagine leaving your child there without any support? And so we're appealing to those who have not started to do so.
Are you saying that maybe on a monthly basis the church can work through their budget and include Bahamas Academy possibly as a line item?
Ah, Pastor, you are on target. I was just going to suggest that all our churches should have Bahamas Academy as a line item on their budget.
That would be incredible.
Yes,
Wow.
and it would just complement and enhance our offerings.
Now, there are challenges across the board in our country. Do you see or can you speak to how this affects or may affect Bahamas Academy in any kind of a way?
Yes. The financial woes of our country compound our dilemma.
Okay.
Because we will have parents who are threatened to withdraw their children because they've lost their jobs. And so a number of financial gymnastics
Okay.
have been presented to our parents, where our business manager, Mr. Damascus, is aiming to put our parents on a financial plan so that this can remedy the situation and not have that burden in paying all at the same time. Because of the financial woes of our country, we are impacted by even our limitations in improving the financial plan. Though new, it has to be maintained.
Okay.
We are impacted by the fact that we want to increase salaries,
Right.
and we're unable to, as we would like. Also, we are impacted by the fact that we would want to enhance our offerings. We would like to do more professional development for teachers, in addition to what we're doing in-house. But because of the dearth in the economy, we are limited.
I see. And yet, in the midst of that, Bahamas Academy is still doing well.
Yes, we are doing exceptionally well in our academics. Our school is above the national grade level.
Okay.
And for that, we thank God.
All right.
We have seen a steady climb in our mathematics results. Not where we want it to be, but we see the progression.
Wow.
And there are just so many things happening at Bahamas Academy that we want to be thankful for. We have a dynamic and creative staff, and sometimes we do not give the accolades when they're needed, but our teachers go beyond the call of duty.
Okay.
And so we have students who have been successful in their BGCSEs at grade 11,
Wow.
and they are qualified for college.
That's
And there are
commendable.
some who have stayed back and who have left the school with 12, 13 BGCSEs.
Wow.
So
Excellent.
we are not only training our children for eternity, we're also training them to be equipped for this life and eternity.
Beautiful. Bahamas Academy has been kept open for all of these years, and it seems like one, education is expensive. But why do you go to all these lengths just to keep Bahamas Academy open? Why not just call it a day, shut it down, let them go to public school or wherever else they can find their education?
Well, Pastor, I mentioned that we have a philosophy,
Okay.
and that is to restore in our children the image of God. And so we have an obligation.
I hear the word
So
again.
when you think of cost, that pales in comparison to our obligation. And this obligation is not to our society. It's not to our friends. It's not to our church.
Okay.
It's to God.
Wow.
And that is the reason we exist. So that our children can be equipped for the 21st century, and when all of this is over, they can have a place with Jesus. So there are many global distractions for children, but parents are still choosing a safe environment for their children, and they've chosen Bahamas Academy. Despite the cost, despite the ills, Bahamas Academy is available and equipped to train our boys and girls.
Beautiful. As you think about Bahamas Academy, the education system of the South Bahamas Conference, where you sit, and you look at the next 5 years possibly, what do you see on the horizon for Bahamas Academy? What are some of your visions? Where do you see the school being possibly?
When I think of Bahamas Academy, I think of the product. And the product is the student. What or who are we sending out there? And so when we look at the next 5 years, as a collaborative team, the faculty and staff, we want to ensure that this product is marketed. And when this product stands in society, it's valued. It's making a contribution. And so we want to see in the next 5 years our grade level in our external examinations improving.
Okay.
The improvement would be a motivation for even the other students who are anticipating their attendance at our school. So in the next 5 years, we want to see a continued alignment of our curriculum. We want to ensure that we have a more aggressive approach to our public relations. We want to see additional subject offerings, also an economic boost for our workers. We want to see the continued improvement of our spiritual and physical programs. And it is my dream to see an active and functional alumni association.
Wow. Okay.
Also, a meaningful endowment plan and to develop, to boost our economy and our financial ability and industry.
Okay, good.
Most of our schools across the world have industries, and I would like us to have one as well.
Beautiful. I love it. You mentioned alumni.
Yes.
Are you proud of your alumni?
Oh, ever so proud. Bahamas Academy has produced some firsts. We have produced the first pulmonologist in the Bahamas, and also the first criminologist in the Bahamas. In addition to that, we have skilled tradesmen, doctors, lawyers, teachers, and a good complement of our teachers at Bahamas Academy are alumni.
Wow, that's excellent.
Yes, yes. And so we have pastors, Pastor Clark.
Yes, definitely.
And we have an array of professionals who have graduated from Bahamas Academy. And we are proud of them because they are making their mark in society. And if you check it out, Pastor Clark, if you visit Her Majesty's house, you will not find a large percentage of Adventists or students who attended Bahamas Academy.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. As we wrap up this program, time goes by so quickly. What final words would you say to those viewing the program today as you think of your capacity in the conference and the contribution that God has called you to make? What would you say to the viewing audience today?
I would like to say to our viewers that Bahamas Academy has survived because many of them have given back. Bahamas Academy has survived because we have understood the mandate given by God. I wish our viewers would maintain the partnership that we have established so Bahamas Academy can move from strength to strength and move from good to great.
Beautiful. Mrs. Scavella, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for your insights and your input and your commitment. I trust that God will bless your ministry and the contributions that you make and that Bahamas Academy has been making in our society. May every student, may everyone connected with Bahamas Academy be like the sons of Issachar, who knew the times and understood the times in which we live. Until next time, it's Voices. I'm Eric D. Clark. God bless you in Jesus' name.